So here's my tips for Uber drivers, rideshare drivers.
I'm tired of humans and errors. I turn you to switch for the cheddar. I do this shit for my ancestors. Like fuck your parameters, I push the boundaries.
As you can see, if you watched my last video, I definitely said something about chewing this damn gum. And as soon as I pressed record, I realized I got a piece of gum in my mouth. So, yep. Discipline is a principle. And you see where mine is right now. Don't feel bad. Just be aware and move accordingly. But I don't know if I mentioned in my last video that I drive overnight doing Uber. I choose to drive overnight because, one, it is a lot less traffic. I'm currently in Dallas on an assignment for the year, and it's not as bad as other places in the world, but Dallas traffic is ruthless when the sun is up. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I do that. Another thing is I like to be able to be flexible for my family during the day since I am in Dallas. Because, I mean, shit, we're supposed to be able to call on each other, right? So, since I'm out here with the family that I grew up with, I think that my sacrifice for my goals is me allowing myself to be available during the day. So, now, don't get me wrong. I have told some people that I drive overnight, so I do prioritize my sleep or rest. But for the most part, if my family calls on me during the day and they're respectful about it, then I will, interrupt my sleep to get up and make something happen real quick. And I'm naturally a problem solver. Like, as soon as you come to me with a problem, the first thing in my mind is, how can we resolve this? So, I don't think that I've been, well, I'm not even gonna get into that. But yeah, so it is currently 8:32 p.m. So we're gonna see where this vlog leaves off at. But yeah, I'm about to start my shift. I just emptied my bladder, but I had a heavy meal before I started around like 6:30 today. So I should be at the start of my, thorough digestion phase. And I don't have anything with me other than water and fruit. I ain't gonna lie, I haven't really slept much today, but I did drink a little energy drink, which this is why this is Sarina-Reign Unboxed, because I don't think that energy drinks are part of the plant-based, the vegan community, but I'm doing it to get this bread, so whatever. Eventually I get to a point where I don't need energy drinks, and I low-key already know what I need to keep my body from craving more energy to handle my business. But like I said, I'm not there yet, so keep up with the journey, and I guess you'll see what it took for me to get there. Because I will be there eventually. I know what I need for myself to make sure that I have the energy naturally that I need to accomplish my goals. I'm just, like I said, not there yet. But I'm not going to prolong this intro. When I get another opportunity to record, I will. Hopefully I can introduce y'all to a passenger or something during this shift. But I mean, like I said, we'll see where this goes when it gets there. Let's see where this night takes us. Oh, and one last thing before I get too caught up in my shift. If you drive for Uber, if you're thinking about driving for Uber, if you're not making what you desire to make through Uber, I try to adopt mentors in every every different angle that I am like attacking goals in my life. And I do have a mentor through Uber who did Uber for some years. I has been doing Uber for some years, and they generate no less than like $10,000 a month. That's really the only reason why I started driving for Uber, because I'm like, what? When I seen them numbers, and hopefully I can get them to send me a screen recording or a screenshot so I can show y'all. But when I seen those numbers, I was like, oh no, I need a little piece of that pie, or at least see if it works. So I've been driving. It's January 20th. I started with Uber Eats. So this is my suggestion. When I started doing Uber at the beginning of last year, I was in a hoopty and my vehicle did not qualify for me to transport people. But I hadn't seen the numbers that my friend had been doing on Uber, so I wasn't tripping. I started off doing Uber Eats because they don't care what your car look like as long as it gets where it needs to go. So I was doing Uber Eats. With Uber Eats, I was doing Uber Eats full time. I was generating about $4,000 a month, which ain't much more than what people are making on their jobs. Doing, I can't even do the numbers in my head, but that's on average what a person is making at a job, paying like $18 to $20 an hour. It wasn't a lot, although I did press to get myself in position to make like at least $20 an hour, because I knew that if I made $20 an hour, then the tips would make up for that little extra that I might have needed for something else or whatever in life. And I will say that I am not a minimalist, but I don't require that much to survive in life. So $4,000 a month was okay for me, because I put myself in position for it to be. And then around like, I say June-ish, I started doing Uber Eats in like, when I first moved to Conroe. I had moved to Conroe at the end of February. I started doing Uber Eats the beginning of March, just so that I can, learn the area that I was in. I wasn't necessarily doing it for the money, although I wasn't even making enough money to consider doing it full time. I was making like $75, $80 a day, because I was only driving for a couple of hours. But I was back and forth to Dallas, and I ended up coming to Dallas in June, which my business started in Dallas. So keeping up with customers that were still, asking for my services, I was driving back and forth to Dallas. It started off being once a month, and then it got to a point where it was being bi-weekly. So I had came to Dallas the beginning of June, like I think it was almost exactly June 6th, 2023. I had came to Dallas, and I'm still here. It's it's January 20th. So you see how that worked out. But my goal was to not be living in Dallas. I went to Conroe for a reason, but shit happens, so I'm gonna just let God do what God does, and I ain't gonna make no complaints about it. Anyways, fast forward to about like August, I went to go visit my friend, and I was letting them know that I was doing Uber Eats, and they was like, "No, you need to be doing." They was like, "If you're gonna be putting in that much time, you might as well be doing, Uber and transporting people, because you'll make 2 to 3 times more than what you're doing on Uber Eats." And I was like, whatever. I was like, you ain't done Uber in about 6 months to a year. So, shit changes or whatever. And it was going in one ear and out the other, because I'm stubborn. Anyways, so they was like, no, I'm for real. Like, look, this is what I was making when I, stopped doing Uber. And I was looking at like $2,500 a week, $1,800 a week. And I'm like, oh shit. And that's how it was, like, on average. Like, he wasn't making no less than $1,800 a week. So I was like, a week? I can do that. I can do that. Just create a little regimen and put in that time. So at that moment, I was like, but shit, my car don't qualify. And I was like, yeah, I had been talking to one of my coworkers about, you know, going half on a rental, and we just, you know, alternate shifts on when we use the rental. That way, all of the like maintenance expenses falls back on the owner of the car. And I was like, damn, I had been doing rental arbitrage with Airbnb for like 3 years. So it was making sense when they were talking about renting a car, because I had been renting properties. So that's the reason why I started transporting people. I started off with a rental. I had some issues with my car and needed a rental anyway. So I was like, well, shit, if I need a rental, I might as well get one that I can make some money off of. So I got a rental that I could do Uber in. It took me about 2 weeks to get my acceptance right up. After I got my acceptance right up, I had like a $400 night. And I was like, oh shit, he wasn't lying. I was like, okay. So here's my tips for Uber drivers, rideshare drivers. First of all, make sure you read the fine print of what the requirements are so that you can stay an Uber driver. And have multiple accounts, because if you are aiming to make a certain amount a day, just as, you know, owning a business, the numbers are going to fluctuate. So you might not make what it is that you're striving for in your shift on Uber. Now, and once you get off of Uber, you can, you know, work for a few more hours, get your overtime essentially on another app. I will say that I have noticed you make more on Uber than you do on Lyft, but it might be different for different people. That's just what works for me. There's a reason why you only get to drive for 12 hours. There's DOT standards, so make sure that you're reading up on that and you are not putting yourself in position to burn out. That is tip number 2. Don't overwork yourself. Create a regimen, stick to the regimen regardless of what the numbers are looking like. Now, if you got a family of 10 kids and you gotta go that hard, then you know, do what works best for you. But I would highly suggest to not burn your stuff out, because when I started seeing those numbers, your girl was working like 18 hours a day. And within a month, I told myself I was gonna take, first of all, I started by saying I wasn't taking no days off because I seen what my friend was doing. I'm like, I ain't taking no days off. I'm finna make $10,000 a month, bare minimum. After a month of doing that, I said, I'm finna take 2 days off. And 2 days turned into a week because my body needed that rest. Now, had I been putting myself in position to get proper rest, because mind you, I'm working 18-hour days because I'm trying to hit a quota every day, because I seen what they was making, so I knew it was possible. I'm working 18-hour days. That only leaves you 6 hours between shifts. You still gotta go home, which, depending on where your last trip was, home might be an hour away. Not only do you gotta go home, I'm hoping that you're gonna wash your ass before you hop in, you know, your bed, because you don't wanna get your outside germs in your bed. I don't think that sleeping in a dirty environment is very kosher, but, you know, to each his own. And you also gotta get yourself something to eat. You gotta nourish your body. Now, everything outside of that, as far as, you know, handling your business, running your errands, making sure you got groceries in the house, like all of that factors into the 6-hour window that you have between those 18-hour shifts that you're pushing. So create a regimen that works for you. I wouldn't suggest working more than 12 hours a day, but make sure that you're getting proper rest. Number 3 is what's number 3? Number 3 is, pack you some snacks or lunch. You can see I'm like overloaded. I got, if you can see that, that's a big ass bowl of watermelon. I got snacks in here. I got pecans, I got dates. That's a bowl of grapes. It's some seaweed in there. I got water in multiple forms. This is hot water because it is 34 degrees outside. So if you keep yourself in position to not have to pull over to get snacks, it'll help a lot with your numbers. One thing about Uber is it runs off of an algorithm. So I'm pretty sure it's a computer, but having experience with dispatching, it might not be a computer. They might just have an ass load of people, you know, dispatching rides out, which Uber is a very large platform, so I don't see how, that's beside the point. I was finished, I don't see how that makes sense, but that's beside the point. But I say that to say, if you have a regimen, put yourself in position to stay online for the full 12 hours. Accept everything that's coming in. Don't deny any trips unless you absolutely have to, like for safety reasons or whatever. But put yourself in position to where you don't have to stop and make additional trips. Also, you drinking water, you staying hydrated. You see I got all that fruit. If you have to use the restroom, find you a QT or a racetrack. I'm in Dallas right now, so I don't know what it looks like all over the state, but find you one of them 24-hour gas stations that is safe and has a lot of lighting. One, they're open 24 hours, and they have a pretty decent reputation for having clean restrooms. Which, I mean, cleanliness is just a preference of mine, but I like these kind of places because there's been times where when I was working them 18-hour shifts, I got up and went to use the restroom, came back and sat in the car, and mentally I just couldn't drive no more. I felt like it was unsafe. If you don't know, Quick Trip is known to be a safe place. I don't necessarily know what safe place means, but I worked for Quick Trip for about 3 days, and I know that they give the police officers free incentives or whatever to patronize. So there's police officers here all the time. If I needed to pull over and take me a 30-minute nap, I would pull into a QT parking lot because I know the police, you know, frequent this business consistently for the 24 hours that they're open. So I think I got all my tips out. I don't want to do too much or whatever because I need to go make this money. But that's just the tips that I have. Yeah, that's it. Let me go make my money. I'll see y'all soon.
Hey man, y'all gonna follow my clothing brand, J-Bands. I got that hot shit, 2024 shit for sure. All young people, y'all come fuck with me, real shit.
Well, I'll take that back. Here's a quick tip as a rider. Guess what? We do this because it's easy money as a driver. So if you are a rider, don't be rude to your driver, especially before they even get there, because I'm the type of person that'll get to where I am a minute away from your location and I'll cancel the trip and drive off. I'll pull up to where you get ready to get in the car. And if you've been rude to me before I even get there, I will cancel the trip and have you standing in the middle of the street looking crazy. So don't be rude to your driver, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person out there like that. And I would hate for you to need to be at the airport or someplace important, and now you're running behind because somebody decides to react to the way you were treating them for providing you a service. So yeah, that's a tip for the passengers, because I ain't really just had no issues, but I got a list of things in my head to do if I do start having stuff. So don't be rude to your drivers. Okay, so this is some exclusive behind the scenes shit. Oh, let me stop cussing, because my last video had a lot of cussing in there, and I was trying my best to clean that up, but I was like, that's too much. So this is some behind the scenes exclusiveness. Look at my face, y'all. I told y'all that castor oil messed me up. You can see I am all my life, been grinding all my life, sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. This is some behind the scenes stuff for real, y'all. I started to fall asleep behind the wheel. But I kept chasing that money. I look so fat. This is gonna encourage me to get in the gym for real. So I started to fall asleep behind the wheel. And I waited until the sun started to come up because, ooh, you can't even see. That was so rude. Excuse me. Anyways, I waited until the sun started to come back up to take a nap because I ain't hit my quota yet. And I don't be wanting to go back inside until I've made what I said I was gonna make for the day. So instead of me going to the crib, I pulled over to a safe gas station and caught me what was supposed to be a 20 and 30 minute nap. Look at that police officer just posted, waiting on somebody to either come around this corner flying or do something that he can make a contact off of. So yeah, I'm just waking up. If you are considering Uber, here's another tip. Have some people that you trust to indefinitely share your location with, because I know that the location I'm in and probably the next 20 surrounding miles is our sundown towns. So I stopped by Starbucks and got me a matcha just to give me some energy to push me until the sun was getting ready to come up so that I could pull over and catch me a nap, because I'm about an hour away from my house, even if I was to have decided to go home before I met my quota. My bad, y'all. Okay, so this is a lot. I got a 126 gigabyte phone, and for some reason my storage is full already. So I just deleted some stuff to get this last little piece in. I'm in a pale blank side of town, and my next rider is being like very pale at the moment. So let me go ahead and get this pale person to where they need to be so that it doesn't disturb my energy. And I'll be back later with more tips for driving with Uber. All right, so I'm gonna cut this one a little short because that little nap I took in the car, when I woke up and stretched, I felt something pop in my back. And I had a really bad car accident a few years ago that caused me to have like some spinal issues. And apparently this morning when I took that nap in the car, I slept in a position that kind of like triggered that. And I just got back from a friend that like studies the muscle groups that has some really, bad back issues from from getting hit by a car on foot. And they spent probably 10 years repairing their self. And in the midst of that, they were learning their muscles and like how the muscles stretch across the body, so they would know like different pressure points and areas of the muscle to manipulate to start to get, some tension. Which they're not a doctor, so I have a strong feeling that I probably just need a massage. I'm hoping that I just need a massage, because I will go get me a massage. I think I'm going to try that this week. Just go get me a massage, take a day off. I need a facial super bad, because my face is like doing some things from that that little issue I had with the castor oil. But yeah, it's always something, Lord. It's always something. It's always something. And I feel like I am having a muscle spasm that I can't seem to get to release. So it feels like my muscle is like knotted up in one area.